Hey everyone, just wanted to share with you guys a little bit today about how I mixed the new Ghosts of Glaciers record. We start off with this interlude guitar. Soloing it, and I also have on this delay. It's this Valhalla delay behind the mountain setting. Awesome for anything ethereal. Can't really beat this delay. Should get it. So here's without the delay. I have a bit of the soft tube tape on it. Just barely tapping it. Pro Q3. Getting rid of a lot of the mud. These are just some room mics, which were SCVR1s on all my rooms. You can hear how muddy that is. So I had to get rid of all that. And then a tiny bit of soothe. All right, moving on. We tracked kind of different guitar tones for different clean parts. So there's a lot of variety with this one. This is just the normal clean channel. I think these were Telefunken M80s. A little bit of tape. SSL channel strip. Just cleaning up a lot of mud. When you have everything that wants to sound huge, you have to thin it out. Taking care of some of that upper mid harshness. And then it's a tiny bit of compression. And these are the room mics. Just a little tape. And some more of that mud cleanup. And other than that, I added no reverb or delay to that guitar. That's all Steven. Most of this stuff is basically them. I didn't add a lot of effects. Warming it up a bit. Again, thinning it out. Love the Fab Filter Pro MB. little soothe too. So I'll show you what that is. I like to use Soothe with the multiband before it, because otherwise it just tries to work too hard. It starts sounding weird. Let's move on to Clean Bass. Just a Telefunken M80 on a Ampeg 412. It's a little crunchy. Probably should have dialed the gain back, but little tape. Little Pro Q. This is a nice compressor. F6, dynamic EQ. Bass room mic. Sticking with bass. This is a SEV kick, I believe. I can't even hear that. I don't even use this plugin anymore, honestly. Maybe because I never liked it. So what I like to do with bass is I'll high pass the mic, low pass the DI, so I can get everything I want, and just kind of sculpt it how I want. Mix the lows in with the kick. So that's why that's there. Compressor. Bypass that EQ. Sounds cool, but with everything else in there, you kind of have to carve things. Pultec. A little bit of soothe. Let's see, here's the DI. Slow past. Uses a Sans amp. Just compressor. Yep. Let's talk about drums. Kick in. Beta 91. Little tape. A gate. Here's my EQ on it. Got rid of everything. I only need a tack out of my kick in, so usually I do this. There's a little plate on that. I'll get rid of that. Okay. Kick out. D6. Drum kit was DW. Recorded inside of a big church. And then a sample to finish out the kick sound. Use all of it together. Start the section. Snare top. It was a Black Beauty. This is a 441. A Sennheiser 441. Standard gate. Really like this gate. Scooped a lot of the mids out. It's okay to make big EQ moves because the EQ police aren't going to be listening to the record. You just have to be judicious. Nothing too big, nothing too small, just whatever's appropriate. Compressor. After the compressor, I use the split EQ. I don't even use half this stuff anymore. But It's always about making your process better, you know? Constantly improving who you are as an engineer. So here is the Telefunken M80, which is also on the snare top. And the gates are pretty aggressive, but with the room mics and stuff, you don't notice it. There's the EQ on this. Compressor. I never really compress things more than 6 dB. Maybe it's just psychological, but I'll usually compress things in several stages. Channel. Actually, most of my processing goes in several stages. It's channel, bus, and then master. And usually you want to go heavier in the processing on the channel, because you don't want to create weird phase relationships down the road. So it's better to capture it all the way in properly. But if you have to EQ something heavily, it's better to do it on the channel or compress it. Split EQ. Split EQ is nice for getting rid of some of this bleed. Rid of a little ring right there. Again, I probably did too much, but maybe I didn't. This is 2 years ago, so it's hard to tell. Snare bottom, AKG 451B. Oops, what did I do? Tape. Center gate. Love the 451B on snare bottom. I think it's one of the best mics. I think it's the best one, actually. That's what it sounds like, though, without the EQ. This whole project was tracked through a Midas Pro live desk. It's the source that's matters the most. Source in the room. So you get a good drum set, good room. Doesn't matter what kind of converters or preamps you have. Good mics, too. But everything after that is kind of fluff, in my opinion. So I can do this with a Midas Pro live console. You know, what would it have sounded like through a Neve? Sample I mixed in. I tend to bus all the things through a bus. I have a kick bus and a snare bus, and then I'll bus those buses into a drum bus. I do I do, maybe it's psychological again, but I do think that Pro Tools likes to see summing. Like if I have two guitar tracks, instead of hard panning them left and right, I'll just put them as a stereo track. And for some reason, I think that Pro Tools likes that better because it seems to sound better to me. So I think it likes to see summing in different stages. It seems to be more error free if you have a little bit more bussing. Anyway, I'm not gonna go over all the toms, but let's do one tom. This is the Tom 2, 98 on the SM98 on the top, and then a 604 on the bottom. And 98s tend to be a little bit thin, so I add a bottom mic and low pass it to beef it up. Pro Q. Split EQ. Nice thing about split EQ is you can bring out some of the attack without necessarily bringing out as much cymbal. It's not perfect, but it can help. I don't use it regularly, but tom bottom. And then my crossover point is exactly the same at both EQs. 125, exact same slope. You do something different, you might run into some phase issues. You want to kind of keep things consistent. Here it is with the plate. This plate is the Hofa Big Temple. No, this isn't it. It loaded wrong. Hofa kind of is buggy like this. This is just the normal bright plate. Large famous bright plate is what it is on there. Let's talk about. So the room mics, little plate on them, just extend a little bit. Now I wanted these to be louder in the mix, so I thinned them out a lot. And to get things louder and to leave space for the other instruments, you kind of have to just get rid of a lot of the low mid stuff. Otherwise, it just eats away at everything. And with recordings that rely heavily on room mics to sound right, this is what you have to do. These were Warm Audio 251s, really like 251s on overheads. It's a tape. I liked B. I think it sounded more real to me. EQ'd the shit out of it. Again, just have to make space for other stuff. You know, low passed it because I had enough high end from my cymbals or from the overheads and. Sorry. again, these are... Sorry, I misspoke earlier. These are the SEVR ones at the opposite end of the church in the balcony. Yeah, I think this was all just trying to get stuff to fit in there. Okay, back to the overheads. So these were the 251s. I love the MB, the Pro MB on overheads. I literally use this all the time. I don't even use a regular compressor anymore. Just keeps those cymbals just nice and in place. Using a soft knee, slow attack, fast release. And you can adjust the range so it only looks it. You can kind of avoid some of those snare hits. This is just a ribbon mic underneath the hi-hat. I like underneath hats because they're chunkier and they kind of the bleeds a little bit better. There was also a mic behind him. Just kind of a trash mic. Oh, this is a Goodhertz Faraday limiter. It's 1176 type. I don't know. I don't use it anymore. It sounds pretty cool, but it's just kind of complicated. I don't have time for that. I also use a parallel compression on my drums, and you should too, because drums are so hard to fit into a mix if you don't have multiple levels of compression. I have a drum bus compressor. It's not hitting there. This smashes my parallel compression. So yeah, smash. This parallel compression. I just send kick, in, snare, top, and then tom tops. Send mostly snare, some toms, and a little bit of kick, because the drums just don't sit right unless you have it. I use it studios, use it live. They just don't sit right. All right. I called these the Spanish guitars. Because I'm not creative. That's nice on those. I think this is the mic on this was the Sennheiser 441. Surprised I didn't use Soothe on that, but whatever. Those effects are all Steven. Nothing for me. Oh, I put a Hall on the room mics on those. Reverbs are cool on room mics because it just can make the room just sound a little bit bigger. Wider. Again, that's 2 tracks, 2 takes, just converted down into 1 track. Called the Dark Guitars for, I think I put a ribbon on it. That's definitely a ribbon. You hear all that lows? The low end is all ribbon. Little bus compressor on the clean bus. Yeah, and these days if I have anything that's that harsh, I just run it through a piece of outboard gear because transformers kind of take care of all that stuff. All right, now talk about distorted guitars. These are quad tracked. It's 4 takes, 2 through an orange 212, and I forget what orange head, and then 2 through Gensben's head and another 412. And yeah, just I think this song had an HM2 pedal on it, so it sounds kind of like a chainsaw, but works well. Couple room mics. So when you have a recording, you kind of have to have a vision in your head of what's going to happen. So when we were tracking guitars, I thought, okay, I can't have 4 guitar channels with 4 mics a piece on it. It's just never going to work. So I thought while we were tracking, or getting tones, I just picked 2 and said, hey, these are the low end of the guitar, and then the Gensbens will be the high end of the guitar. And you just make a decision. Yeah, you kind of have to have a little bit of a vision in your head before you're going in, because you don't want to waste time putting up too many mics and running into phase issues later down the road. HM2. Wow, I didn't do shit to those. Here, that's all high end. I'm going to back it up where there's not that HM2. I guess it's here too. Just guitar room mics. Again, just some ribbons. Just a phaser Steven had me put on there. See if he forgot to put his on there. I already went over those. Yeah, so I think that's it. This is really just all the band. I just kind of had a vision knew that the room mics were really important to the entire mix, especially on the drums. And yeah, just change stuff around on the way in if I had to. Again, I used one reverb, two reverbs, one delay, and one phaser, and those are the only effects I added. Everything else was just cleanup work and warming it up a bit. So, hope that helps. I'll have more of these in the future. I'm planning on doing more. So, yeah, I hope you learned something and let me know if there's anything I screwed up, and I'll try and answer your questions. All right, thanks.